Hello boaters, welcome to Narrowboat Journeys. I'm Phil, and I've lived aboard my narrowboat for over 30 years. I travel the canal system with my two cats, Bushka and Midge, and today we're on the Upper Peak Forest Canal. So this video begins where the last one left off. We're at Whaley Bridge. I've just stopped here for water, rubbish and to empty the Elsan, and now I'm turning around and heading back on down the canal. As I mentioned in the previous video, because of the failure of Todbrook Reservoir, they're having to pump water from the River Goyt, just down below, into the canal to keep the water topped up. It's quite nice down here, but it's not the sort of place I'd like to stop because that road is very noisy. So let's have a look at the map. We're starting at the yellow marker near the bottom of the map, and we'll be finishing the trip at the yellow marker at the top of the map. But before we go there, on the way we'll branch off and go down and have a quick look at Bugsworth Basin. I won't be stopping at Bugsworth Basin, I'll just turn around and head on back and stop at the end point. So, off we go. He's still grinding away on his roof. And here you can just get a glimpse of the Tesco store down below. There's also a B&M store there as well. More long-term moorings all the way to the junction now. It's very narrow through here. I'm honestly not sure if there's room for two boats to pass. I think there probably is, but it's going to be very tight. And here we are back at the junction. This time I'm going to turn right and we'll go down and have a quick look at Bugsworth Basin. Here we have a footbridge that crosses the canal, and that wall beside it actually marks the location of a tunnel. There's a tunnel going underneath the canal, so if you want to go to Tesco's you can just walk down and go under the canal and into the car park that way. And you'll often see boats moored along here on the non-towpath side, and these are unofficial visitor moorings, and there's a good place to stop if you want to go to Tesco's. So you could just moor up here and just walk straight down. It's not very far at all. And yes, here's another very busy road that we've got to go underneath. When I was here 20 years ago, I couldn't boat down here. This was all closed off. Bugsworth Basin was closed for restoration, and I could only just walk down and have a look, but couldn't take the boat in. There's no mooring allowed along here, and the signs warn of shallow water, so there must be some sort of obstruction probably on the right hand side there. Keep well away. You can see how slowly I'm travelling. These walkers are overtaking me. It's very pretty down here, but not particularly peaceful, because that busy main road runs very close to the canal here on the right. You can't really see it, but you can certainly hear it. Just on the other side of this narrow section, we'll be entering Bugsworth Basin. The purpose of Bugsworth Basin was to bring the canal close to the limestone quarries that are in this area. There's a special tramway used to bring limestone down to be loaded onto boats, and this is really quite a large complex really. It's best seen from above, so let's have a look at the map. We're over on the left of the map. We're just entering the Bugsworth complex, and as you can see it's quite elaborate, and you can moor up virtually anywhere you like here. Notice there's a pub over there on the right, so that makes it very popular for boaters. But as I've already mentioned, you can't see the road, but you can certainly hear it. On this occasion I didn't moor up and stop here. I didn't think it was really very suitable for the cats. It's quite busy and it's very open. But I walked down a few days prior to my visit and took some video clips of the place. Over there is the entrance to the basin, and there's a water point right where that boat was. This central channel here is the only place you can't moor up. I'm not sure why, but it's all sealed off. There's the pub in the background there. Radio-controlled yachts. You can moor here if you want, if there's room. The pub is immediately over to the left. This is the far end of the basin now. Now, I did mention that this basin complex was best seen from the air, so I got my drone out and I did a flyby for you. Oh, I wish. If I had a drone, I'd probably just crash it immediately anyway, so this will have to do. I'm just entering the basin now, and when I've worked out what this boat in front of me is doing, I shall turn around and go back down again. And it looks like they're reversing back into that channel to moor up. Just over to the left there is a water point. I believe there's rubbish disposal as well. There's a little shop, information kiosk type place over there. You're allowed to moor here free of charge for 48 hours. If you want to stay longer, I think you just have to pay. My engine is now on tick over in reverse, and now I'm using the pole to shove the back end around so I can make this turn. Sometimes when you push on the pole it just sinks down in deep mud and it doesn't really do an awful lot. Other times you might hit a nice rock and you've got something decent to push against. It was quite good here. Please excuse my scruffy apparel. There's no point in wearing anything clean when you're boating. As soon as you step off the boat you end up getting covered in mud usually. There's a lot of this plant growing around on the Peak Forest canals and on the Macclesfield Canal. It's called Himalayan balsam, and it's an invasive species. It's not really meant to be in this country. You're supposed to pull them up when you see them, but it's absolutely everywhere up here. They are quite pretty though. They look like long, leggy, busy lizzy plants because they are part of the Impatiens family. And that's the end of my very brief trip to Bugsworth Basin. Like I said, I'd be happy myself to stop here, but it wasn't really very good for the cats, so I decided to turn around, head on back to the junction, carry on up the canal a little bit and find somewhere a bit more suitable. I did have a little bit of a crash here. See where the towpath is sticking out, that little elbow on the right? I didn't see that. That wasn't too bad, just a little bit of a bump and a scrape, nothing serious. And here we are back at the junction, turning right this time. I'll be glad to get away from these busy roads. I hate traffic noise. This looks like a nice place to moor up. I spotted this on the way down. I thought I'll stop there on the way back. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time.